Welcome back, everyone, to the BGF podcast, episode number 24. I'm your host, Gianluca, alongside of
Brandon.
And today we got the Week 5 game spreads, preview, and predictions. Brandon, it's already Week 5. What's happening?
I can't believe it's already Week 5, man. It passed you wait 8 months for the season to come back, and bang, already at Week 5.
It's just such a beautiful sport, honestly. Four months of greatness,
And it's
times of our lives, and it's just done. And then we get all hyped up again, and
if we have to wait forever.
yeah, just what a sport. Only the NFL can do this.
Hey, we're getting really close to Week 7, where we will be on Monday Night Football. Vikings
You will
versus
see
Niners.
us on television.
So
US Bank.
That's going to be pretty exciting. And let's get into these spreads. So right now, the score is 2-1 for Gianluca.
Brandon won last week, guys, unfortunately.
And in the Survivors, I'm still undefeated.
I unfortunately have 2 strikes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes the rest of the way. But let's get into the game that we're going to have tonight. So yeah, we're recording this on Thursday morning. So we have the Thursday Night Football game tonight. Washington versus Chicago. Washington at 6.5-point favorites. One of the worst Thursday night games they could have possibly put on the schedule. But here we are.
I mean, there's not much to say here. It's going to be, I think, an absolute mugging. Washington's hot. They have some momentum going in. They came really close to beating the Eagles. So I feel like this offense is going to hit once again because the Chicago defense is not there. And we saw Chicago's team in turmoil last week. I think it's just going to keep getting worse for them, unfortunately. And 6.5 shouldn't scare you, especially against the Bears. I'm taking the Commanders here.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to take the Commanders as well. I think they've been quite an under-the-radar team. Like, I know they're 2-2. But besides that Bills game, they've been pretty good. Like, they played the Eagles very hard. And in their wins, they've looked pretty good with Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator.
Finally getting a shot, and he's making things work.
Yes, sir.
And he's moving on to the Sunday slate. This is the London game of the week. It is going to be the Buffalo Bills, 5.5-point favorites, versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who would have thought?
If this was played in the United States, I would probably pick guaranteed Buffalo without even thinking about it. But I think there's more thought to be given that it's in London. We know the Jags, it's basically a home game for these guys. It feels like they're always in London.
They played something like, I believe, 12, 13 games in London already, which is just wild. No other teams like close to them.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And yeah, like you said, it's the London, there's the time difference, there's the flight, there's a bunch more that we can look into than just a simple, Buffalo flying down to Jacksonville or vice versa type game. What do you think? What are your thoughts going into this one?
This is probably the hardest game to predict for me. Off looking at the spreads earlier on. Who are you gonna? You're gonna go for Jacksonville?
I'm taking the Jags. I think the Bills will win this game. It's just I think it won't be as dominant as they would have hoped, just because of the time difference, the flight, and everything. They'll be tired. They'll be they won't be at their 100%. But I do see the Bills winning. I just don't think by 6. I can see them winning by like a field goal, even maybe 1-2 points. And yeah, I see Jacksonville covering this one.
I just feel like those London games are never that exciting. I feel like they're always just...
They're not.
I'm gonna... I'm not gonna think too much into it. I'm gonna take the Bills here. I feel like they're like one of the hottest teams in the league right now. And I don't really want to bet against that. So I'm gonna go with the Bills. And it's gonna be our first disagreement so far. The week came earlier on. Usually towards the beginning, the 1 o'clock...
1 o'clock slates were kind of even until the last 2-3.
Yeah, and then after the 4 o'clocks, we're always deferring on.
No, but I mean, I don't hate that take. I can definitely see it happening. It just, I don't know.
Like I said, this is one of the harder ones, so I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong on that.
Anyways, moving on. We got the Indianapolis Colts favored 0.5 over the Tennessee Titans. Basically a pick 'em. Who do you got in this one?
I saw, though, the line's flipped. Not flipped, but the line changed a bit. Tennessee's actually favored on this game.
Tennessee's favored?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, we're always going to go off this one, the run your pool lines.
Yeah.
We'll take... I'm going to...
It's kind of a toss-up, right? Because you got, Indy, who's looked great in some instances, but they've also looked terrible. And same thing with Tennessee.
Yeah, for Indy, I always feel like I pick them, and they flop. And when I don't pick them, they do well. So I don't know.
But maybe JT's back.
I just feel like, I don't know, Tennessee. Oh, is he?
Maybe he's practicing. His window's open.
I have a feeling he won't play for them again. Like, I know he's been practicing full participant.
Possibility. There's a possibility.
And I just feel like that relationship, I don't know how he could come back off.
Jim Mercy.
And as well as a Zach Moss fantasy owner, I hope he doesn't come back. This is an interdivision matchup. Both at 2-2. This is a really big game for both these teams. It's in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, Indy's at home. This is a big game. Probably to honestly see who takes the lead in the division. But anyways, it's a huge game.
With Jacksonville, for me, taking a loss, I'm going to go with... just because they're at home, I'll take Indy. I was very close taking Tennessee.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I think Indy's offense is going to be a little too much to handle for that Tennessee line. I think Anthony Richardson has done enough to sort of like make me comfortable taking Indy in this spot. And anyways, let's move on. The Atlanta Falcons at home, 1.5 point favorites over the Houston Texans. Houston Texans. Now this line surprised me.
Yeah, me too. Coming off Houston's huge win against Pittsburgh this week, I'm surprised with that. But we've seen Atlanta, besides the quarterback play, everything else has looked pretty solid for them.
Yeah.
It's just the most important position hasn't.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to go with Houston here anyway. They're riding hot right now. They're going to be feeling good about themselves. A good young team playing with confidence. I'm going to bet on that team, so I'll take Houston here.
You know, I'm going to have to agree with you, but I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people think, just because Atlanta's defense has been playing really good this season.
I agree.
And it's going to be a nice test to see CJ how he does in this type of environment, but he proved himself last week against the Steelers. So I'm going to ride the Houston Texans here and just take that 1.5. I think that's a pretty safe line to bet, but never know, it's football.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, moving on, we got the Detroit Lions, 8.5 point favorites at home versus the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, this is... Well, Detroit should definitely win this game. They've been very good this season. They're a 3-1 team right now. Probably going to be 4-1 after this game. And yeah, I'm going to take 8.5, you said?
8.5.
I'm going to take Detroit. Carolina has been like pretty hopeless for me this season. I know they've been able to keep games close against the Vikings and against the Seahawks. The game didn't end up being close, but it was a close game overall. Just the score at the end wasn't very close. I'm gonna take the Lions though. They've been rolling as well, and another team that's been playing very well. And I'm gonna go with them here against a very bad Carolina team.
I'm gonna take the dog here. I'm gonna go Carolina. I think 8.5. I think Detroit will win this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit just does Detroit things and bottles it. Because, like, Detroit has a tendency to screw things up. And I feel like this line is a trap for them.
That's the Detroit team of the past.
It is the Detroit team of the past. But you know what? I'm going to take it Carolina here just because of their past tendencies. And I've seen this team struggle. So, but I would, if they do cover this line, it will be very impressive for Detroit. They will have, like, impressed me.
That's the second team I was telling you for the Survivor that I was considering was this game in Detroit.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Anyways, moving on to another divisional matchup. Here we got the Baltimore Ravens 3.5 point favorites over the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are at home and who do have a healthy Kenny Pickett.
I don't know about healthy, but he'll be out there.
He'll be playing. What do you think about this one?
I know it's a divisional matchup. -3.5 is always like a dangerous line to go on a divisional game, but I'm still going to grab Baltimore here. They've been by far the best team in that division.
Yeah.
And I'd expect them to continue the great form they've been on, and Lamar Jackson to continue being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL so far this season. So I'll take Baltimore at 3.5.
Plus, I mean, they are getting healthy. I think I saw some reports that Odell's back, Bateman's back, practicing at least. Yeah. So, I mean, healthy Baltimore versus a okay average Pittsburgh team. I think I'm taking Baltimore 2 here at 3.5. So we're gonna do that one. And
even if Odell, Bateman are playing, not playing, I don't think it really makes much of a difference for me.
No,
as long as a guy like Mark Andrews is out there.
Exactly, and he needs to produce just like last week. That was beautiful.
And Zay Flowers as well. Those are really the two most important pass catchers on that team right now.
Another line that I was surprised with was this next game here. The New England Patriots at home, 1.5 point favorites over the New Orleans Saints. I don't think New England is going to come close to beating New Orleans in this game just because their defense is crippled. Mm-hmm. They lost Judon, they lost Gonzalez, so I think the Saints' offense is going to be able to do whatever they want. And I'm taking the Saints pretty easily here. I'm not even going to question it.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm also going to take the Saints at 1.5, but it's unfortunate for Christian Gonzalez out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that is.
He's looked pretty good in his rookie season, and to see a player like that
Just
was
go
definitely a
down.
contender for Defensive Rookie of the Year, go out like that for the rest of the season. It's just really unfortunate, and that puts Devin Witherspoon not really in the front seat for that award.
Probably, unless Will Anderson does something crazy in Houston. Well, yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, with on New Orleans side, though, we'll see how Derek Carr is, because last week we saw he definitely was playing hurt. He was not back to being fully healthy, and it affected his receivers.
Yeah, it did big time. Chris Olave did nothing.
One reception for 4 yards. You're not going to win football games like that. And, I'm going to take New Orleans here. I just think New England, the offense has not looked good, and the defense, with losing your two best defensive players, it's not a recipe for success here, and I think New Orleans is going
But, I mean, hey, look, they signed J.C. Jackson.
Yes.
Which version of JC are we going to see in New England?
Is he even going to play? Is he going to play this? He could, but...
I'm pretty sure he's going to play. They have no choice. They have no one.
What do you have?
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't, yeah. So, J.C. Jackson comes back. I don't think that really makes much of a difference. I think he's pretty washed. Unless he comes back under Bill and...
Hey, if anyone can turn anyone around, it's Bill. I believe in Bill's defense.
Defensively, I agree with you, but...
But yeah, no, but on New Orleans, right, if Derek Carr is hurt, I feel like this is the type of game where you would feel comfortable just putting in Jameis, just because of the opposing defense. Rest your starter. You need him for the season. Put in Jameis. You're going to get it done. And, move on to 3-2. And let's move on to our next game over here. The Miami Dolphins at home, and also 10.5-point favorites versus the New York Football Giants. This, I believe, is our biggest spread of the week. Yeah, it is, 10.5.
This is the easiest pick of the week as well. Even at 10.5, I'm grabbing it. I mean, we saw Seattle last week. That offensive line is absolutely terrible in New York.
Yeah.
They have 11 sacks, Seattle, last week.
Yeah, it was something crazy. It was a lot.
Something you don't see too often. And, I'd expect Miami, especially with how good their offense is, to just be able to score a will against this Giants defense. And I don't think the Giants offense is going to be able to produce many points. So I can easily see Miami winning by 20 points in this game or even more.
Honestly, if I'm a Giants fan, I'm looking forward to this game just because their offense is probably going to look really good, just because of Miami's defense is not the best. But then again, Seattle didn't have the best pass game last week, and they just completely decimated them, so I don't know. This Giants team, if they lose this one, their season is for sure done. They're up in shambles, and
it's done. There's not maybe. It's done. That season is done.
It'll be done.
Saquon, I saw Saquon might be back, and Andrew Thomas, but
doesn't change.
I don't think it changes much.
Doesn't change much for me. Anyways, moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles, 4.5-point favorites versus the LA Rams, who are at home. And LA has been impressive this season. What do you think about this one?
This is the type of game I'm probably gonna take Philly, but I want to pick the Rams, but I feel like 4.5. It's too risky though.
It's like a safe Philly line.
Yeah, but I feel like I want to take the Rams, but in the thing that we're doing here, it feels like I gotta go for the safe thing and take the Eagles. But I don't know. What do you?
I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I do think the Rams can cover the spread. Philly has not been that impressive, minus last week on offense. And even that last week, it wasn't like they were dominant the whole game. It just sort of like picked up in moments, and it just maybe if they were more consistent, I'll feel comfortable taking Philly. But
even with the Rams, like the week I did pick them against Cincinnati. They
bottled it. They lost.
They just were. They didn't show up. So against this Philly.
But here's the thing with the Rams, right? You're in a division with the Niners and the Seahawks. The Niners and Seahawks are both hot to start the season.
You have to win everything.
You gotta win. You gotta keep winning. You gotta win some divisional matchups too, which is gonna be crucial. But I feel like you're playing another NFC team. I originally had the Eagles here, but I think I'm going with the Rams.
You know what? I'm gonna take the Eagles. It's just.
I don't. It
just feels like the safe pick, but the safe picks always come back and bite me in the ass. So I don't know if it's the safe pick, but I'm gonna go with it anyway, just so we have some different.
I don't hate it.
Different ones, because to be honest, it's a coin toss for me. So I'll go with Philly.
Another game that I was interested to see the line was Cincinnati. They were 3.5-point favorites versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals are at home.
Smash the Cards for me, man.
I'm taking the Cards here, guys. I'm sorry. Cincy, his season looks lost. Joe Burrow doesn't look the same. Yeah, Chase maybe can start getting it going, and I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Burrow stomps these cards, but hasn't proved anything to me yet. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals here, cover the 3.5, and maybe even win this game.
Yeah, I agree. Who they play last week? Was Tennessee last week?
Who, Cincy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee, and they
they
got
absolutely
blown out.
destroyed, so I'm going to take the Cards here. I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game, and Josh Dobbs and the Cards have been impressive.
Josh Dobbs is one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL, literally playing mistake-free football, and that's exactly what the Cards need because their team is not great. As soon as the mistakes happen, this team will lose some football games. But Josh Dobbs is... Hey, look, he's playing great. I want this guy on a different team next year.
Me too. And when they acquired him, I didn't really... I knew he had played last year for Tennessee a few games, but I'm not going to lie, I didn't really watch those games much.
Me neither.
I didn't know he was as much of a threat on the ground, like with his legs. And that's really been a huge factor in his success. And
even that James Conner story. Never mind. He's been good.
He's been good as well. Yeah, I've liked this Arizona story. As much as they're in our division, I'm not too big of a fan of them. But I'd like to see a story like this, so I'm going to go with the Cards here. And I think they could win this game.
Yeah, moving on to another close spread. The Denver Broncos, 1.5-point favorites over the New York Football Jets. This game to me is interesting. Denver is at home, so I am going to edge the Broncos here because that offense has not looked horrible. Sean Payton has gotten it rolling. Russell Wilson is moving the football. If you're a Jets fan, I would be excited to watch this game just because Denver's defense has not really proven itself yet. And Zach Wilson last week didn't look horrible, so maybe you can build off that and have this offense rolling a little more. Plus, you got a healthy Breece Hall who's going to be 100% go. Dalvin ain't going to be touching the ball anymore, so that should be exciting. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I was considering starting Breece Hall in fantasy this week. Between him and Cortland Sutton. And
okay, that's the matchup.
I know, it's actually a tough matchup. But for me, I'm not fooled by this Denver offense. Well, no, the offense has been pretty good, but I'm not fooled about this Denver team. They let 28 points off the Chicago Bears. This defense has been absolutely disgusting this season. They let go of Randy Gregory yesterday, who they signed to a 5-year deal in the offseason, and they're just going to release him.
Yep.
I don't really understand what Denver's doing right now, and I'm going to take the Jets here.
Oh, another difference. I like it.
The Jets' defense can match with Denver's offense. It can definitely more than just match Denver's offense in this game, and I think Zach Wilson and the Jets' offense are okay last week. Denver's defense is terrible, so... And
maybe this is the game.
It's in Denver?
It's in Mile High, yeah.
I don't care. I'm still taking the Jets.
Maybe this game is what the Jets need to turn their season around.
Exactly.
Zach Wilson of the New York Football Jets get things rolling.
And hopefully you can get Garrett Wilson rolling, because in fantasy, I need this guy to start producing points.
Yeah, another line that, not that I was surprised with, but my Minnesota Vikings versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs
This is a 4 o'clock game.
It is a 4:30 game. It's a 4:25 Eastern. Kansas City Chiefs are favored 5.5, but I do know the line has shifted a little bit. They're only favored by 3 now, I believe. I could be wrong. I haven't checked the live spreads.
Every week so far.
I'll let you start.
Every week so far, I've picked the Vikings when they've played, but not this. Actually, did I pick? Yeah, I picked them even against the Eagles because they were underdogs by like 8.5.
They covered.
I'm not doing it this week. This week, I'm taking the Chiefs.
Hey, I don't hate it.
And you're taking the Vikings, obviously. There's no. What's the line? 4.5.
5.5.
5.5. I'm still taking the Chiefs.
Why?
Because since week 2, since Kelsey came back, really their offense has been looking pretty good, and your defense has been starting at their 30-yard line, their own 30-yard line. So I think KC should be able to
capitalize on that. Yeah, no, as a Vikings
KC's
fan,
defense has actually been really underrated as well this year. So
as a Vikings fan, this matchup's huge, right? You need this win. If you win this game, the season is basically reset because you play the Bears next week. I don't see them bottling that one. As much
the offense was good last week. Hey, no.
As much as the turnover issue is just the Bears are the Bears, and yeah, whatever. But anyways, they need this one against Kansas City. They are at home. They are 5.5-point dogs.
Your biases are gonna make you lose this thing, man.
No, they're not gonna lose. I'm taking the Vikings here. I honestly think they'll cover the spread, and I honestly think there's a chance that they win this game just because the Chiefs' offense has not been as elite as you would think.
The Chicago Bears disagree.
The Chicago Bears disagree, but that's the Bears.
Who did they play last week? They played against the Jets. Didn't look that good.
It didn't look too great, right? Yes, the Jets have a great defense. What really impressed me with this Vikings team last week was when Davenport played, we were hitting home with 4 pass rushers, which is something we have not seen yet. Obviously, you're playing a better offensive line. Brian Flores does like to blitz, but we saw the Jets, they were able to not nullify Mahomes, but keep him contained.
You're doing it again. You're selling me.
So, like, I don't know. I feel like there is hope, especially with the Vikings. If they get home with 4, I think there is a chance. I think this game is going to be a shootout. Very underrated game. This is going to be very, very entertaining. And I'm going with the Vikings here.
You know what? I'm still going to pick KC. I'm going to stick with my pick because, you know what? I have to do 1 week where I don't pick the Vikings here. But you honestly did a good job of selling it. The Davenport thing was a good point. He looked pretty good last week in his first game back.
Plus, DJ won him as a third pass rusher. I think fits him beautifully. He doesn't really fit as a starter, but coming in rotation, I think is great. Plus, you have Harrison Smith, who's coming off a career game last week. I mean, just do that a little bit more against Mahomes. Please hit home, and we have a chance. We have a chance.
But how much of a difference is it when you're going against KC or you're going up against Carolina?
No, there is a difference for sure. This is going to be a real test for this D line to see if they can actually hit home consistently. Because I know Flores is going to blitz, and you're going to have those one-on-one looks. You just gotta get through.
Yeah, this game should definitely be a one-possession game, tight game. Hopefully for you guys, it's
in our favor.
It's at home, right?
It's at home.
Exactly. So I think you could keep it close, but I'm still gonna edge KC here. I think they could probably win by a touchdown in this game.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but I do see this game being a shootout. Very underrated game to watch.
Anyway, at this point in the season, you gotta back your boys.
No choice. They're my boys until we die, unfortunately. But yeah, why did I pick the Vikings?
Next up, we're going to my boys.
The San Francisco 49ers.
The 4-0 San Francisco 49ers going up against the Dallas Cowboys at a -3.5 point spread.
And they are at home, I think. Yeah, the Niners are home.
The last few times we've played Dallas in the playoffs, we've been able to beat them. The games have been like relatively close, where it's come down to the last drive and they just fucked it up, the Cowboys. So I'm gonna obviously back the Niners here. I'm gonna take them 3.5 point spread. I think we can easily cover it. Well, I don't know about easily, but we could cover it. And I think Christian McCaffrey is gonna continue the form he's been on since he's come to us. Brock Purdy, I don't think the defense is going to affect him too much because we saw last year he was still able to ball out even against this Dallas defense. And I'm starting him in fantasy this week with Herbert on bye, so it was between him and Dobbs, and you know what, I'm going to back my guy Brock Purdy. So
I think this is going to be the game if Brock Purdy were to go off in the air, would be here, right? Because Dallas is a very good front. Mm-hmm. So I feel like McCaffrey will still be productive, but will he be as productive in recent on the ground as he has been in recent games? Probably not, but I see McCaffrey doing a lot through the air. Mm-hmm. Like catching the football at the backfield, he has that yak capability. You have a bunch of guys on the team that can just run after the catch, get insane amounts of yards, and it's going to be fun to watch.
And yeah, if you thought Brock Purdy was getting the ball out quick so far this season, watch it this game. He'll be getting the ball out quick.
He definitely will.
I imagine Dallas is going to be sending pressure. That's all they're going to want to do.
They will. They're going to want to pressure Brock Purdy and
try and turn us over.
Try and turn you guys over. But the thing is, right, Dallas's offense has really just not impressed me. Through 4 games, they have not looked good. I'm sorry. Mike McCarthy cannot run an offense. He is not as great as people think. I think this Niners team is going to be too much to handle for the Dallas Cowboys, and I would not be surprised if the Niners win by 10. Mm-hmm. Taking the Niners here.
Let's go. And now, finally, for our Monday Night Football game, another shitty primetime game. There's only one good primetime game this week.
Yeah, the Sunday Nighters. Yeah,
Sunday night. The Sunday Nighters have actually, you know what, I'll give it to the
They
Sunday
haven't been horrible.
They've been the best out of the prime time so far, but on Monday night we have the Raiders and the Packers. The Packers are favored by, 1.5 was it?
1.5 point favorites.
And I'm going to side with Green Bay here. I have no idea what Jimmy G's health is looking like if he's going to play, but I don't think it really makes much of a difference to me. That Raiders team is just, on paper, not impressive. Besides Devontae Adams, it's kind of a shit show of a team, him and Josh Jacobs. And yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay here. As much as they struggled on Thursday against... why is Green Bay getting so many primetime games? Why are they getting 2 weeks in a row?
Just because of Jordan Love.
The Giants got that as well last week. They got the Monday night last week, and they had the Thursday the week before.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what impresses analysts with this Green Bay team. It's not good.
They're all right. I think they had a bad week against Detroit, but Detroit's in a pretty elite team right now. And with all the rest coming off a Thursday night, playing on the Monday with 11 days rest they're going to have had. So I'm going to take Green Bay here, and I think Jordan Love's going to be able to bounce back against a very mediocre Vegas team, and that's being generous, I think, calling them mediocre.
I think I'm going to disagree with you here. I'm going to go with the Vegas Raiders to cover the spread and maybe even win this game. Actually, win this game because it's only 1.5.
It's at Allegiant.
It is at Allegiant Stadium, but hey, listen, Max Crosby is going to be causing a lot of problems for Jordan Love, and he's going to be hitting home a lot. Jordan Love's going to be feeling it. I feel like he's going to be pressured. And you've seen with this Green Bay team, when Jordan Love is pressured, just look at last week against Detroit. When Detroit was hitting home, especially in that first half, Jordan Love looked awful. Now, when Detroit stepped off the gas to start the second half, that's when Jordan Love started cooking. But you got a guy like Max Crosby in here, he's a gamer. It doesn't matter. You got two guys on him, he's still going through. I think he's going to be a problem for Jordan Love. I think this Green Bay offense is going to turn the ball over a lot, and it's going to be costly. And this Raiders team is going to find a way to get it done and beat up on them Green Bay Packers. Monday Night Football. And that's my prediction. I'm going with the Raiders.
I don't even know the stat on the Raiders and their cover, but I feel like they always have like a 1.5 point spread these games.
They do have low spreads. I don't remember.
Trash teams and losing.
Yeah, they are. And I believe this is the first week where we got teams on bye, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is. We've got Cleveland on bye. We got the Chargers on bye. Seattle on bye. I don't know. There might be one more
and the
team.
Bucks.
And the Bucks. That's awesome.
Honestly, this is really good for the Chargers to be on bye this week. 2-2, you sort of turned your season around and you start off fresh, come off the bye at 0-0 and just ball out. I think the Bucks and Seahawks having an early bye does not benefit them. Maybe the Bucks just to rest the starters, the vets, get Mike Evans and Chris Godwin 100% for next week. But yeah, this Seahawks team at 3-1, I feel like this is a little early for them.
For the Browns, I think it's perfect with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that too.
Being injured right now, I think that was a really good one for them.
Yeah, that too, because Deshaun Watson's going to come back healthy. You poor DTR doesn't have to just play with a 1 hour notice.
Thrown under the bus.
Doesn't have to play with a 1 hour notice, but yeah, anyways.
We got the Survivor picks now.
Oh, yeah, almost forgot about that one.
What are we going for? Because I'm not going to lie, for me, it's between Detroit and, what was the other one I had said? And the Dolphins.
For me, honestly...
Can I save the... I'm going to actually take a look at the Dolphins' schedule later on to see if I want to really save them.
For me, honestly, I'm looking at the Ravens, the Saints, or the Dolphins. I think this might be a great opportunity to take the Saints just because of the Pats. The decimated Pats team.
Yeah, but the thing is, I could see a surprise where they get beat.
It can happen, but I feel like I don't want to have to choose the Saints later on.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I'm already on 2 strikes.
Yeah, you gotta go for... Yeah, I feel like for you gotta go for like the surefires at this point to get yourself back in.
I feel like I can afford one more loss because I see you losing at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can get me one more loss. So I'm gonna go with the Saints. You know what? I'm taking the Saints here. Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's save those big boys for
Yeah, because you haven't taken KC, you haven't taken Dallas. You wouldn't take Dallas this week, but you took the Niners. I think that's the only big team you've taken.
I've taken the Niners and the Bengals, but the Bengals are not a great team this year. I took the Bucks. Week 5, I'm going with the Saints. Who are you going for? You've taken already the boys. You've taken KC.
I think the Lions play the Bears twice, so I feel like I'd like to save that. I'm going to take Miami. I feel like Miami's the most surefire one. Like, there's no way they lose to the Giants, man.
Yeah.
We're going to come back next week. And they lost to the Giants.
If they lose to the Giants, they're dropping in the power rankings.
Big time.
Yeah, you can't lose to the Giants. I'm sorry. You got to beat them pretty convincingly. Anyways, that wraps up our Week 5 preview and predictions with our Survivor pick. Hope you guys enjoyed that one.
More of a shorter one this week, but...
hey, it's okay.
It was like nicely paced. We didn't go too long, too short, too long. It was I think it was pretty perfect so far. And yeah.
Hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive all notifications when we post our videos live and whatnot. Also, Brandon is going to be on a podcast.
Yeah.
Later today, so we'll keep you guys posted on that one, and we'll let you know how that goes, and
we're close to 300 subscribers. So if you are not subscribed yet, we know there's a lot of people that watch these videos and aren't subscribed. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, subscribe. What are you doing? Hit the red button.
Hit it. Come on, let's get us to 300. Come on, let's get us before next week's Power Rankings.
Yes, sir.
Think you guys can do that? I know you can. Smash the like button, subscribe, and see you guys in the next one.
See ya.